The MVD Rewind Collection resurrects another film from the video store era with 1996's Sabotage, which has nothing to do with the Beastie Boys song or music video that at the time I always really wish they would turn into a movie. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with the William Shatner outtake. This is a film directed by Tibor Takács, probably mispronounced that, sorry, who did The Gate and The Gate 2 and a lot of other things, a lot of straight-to-video stuff, a lot of action films, with Mark Dacascos, or as I jokingly refer to him as Mark Dacascos, even though he's a super nice guy and super cool and super good at what he does. I just had fun with the last name. Carrie-Anne Moss, who would go on to be a year or two later, or three, in The Matrix, and Tony Todd, Candyman, and Greene from Dances with Wolves and a lot of other things. And the film is in English with optional English subtitles, and the basic story goes a little something like this. It is a wartime. There is some kind of a combat situation. Dacascos is a sniper in the field with all his camouflage and everything. He's waiting on word from his commander, Greene, because there is a structure, and inside there are terrorists who are holding hostage, and he's waiting to take the shot. He's waiting for the call to go in, and suddenly somebody that nobody knows, who's also in camouflage, runs in and starts shooting the place up. Who is that guy? We have no idea. Dacascos goes in to try to see what's going on, and it turns out that it's Tony Todd, who, I'm not going to give too much away here, but it's Tony Todd who goes in, kills all the terrorists. That's great. Kills all the hostages. Not so great. Then tries to kill Dacascos. Big mistake. Dacascos survives. We flash forward. Dacascos is now on security detail for some kind of government official, somebody very important, somebody rich, and Tony Todd shows up and starts taking people out, and that leads to this cat and mouse game for the rest of the film, with Tony Todd as like a jackal-like character, as in Day of the Jackal, or maybe as more in the Bruce Willis Jackal, I'm not sure. Tony Todd is this bad guy. Who's he working for? We don't know. Who's he going to take out next? We don't know. Dacascos teams up with government agent Carrie-Anne Moss to try to stop him before he kills again and find out who's behind it all. It's okay. I always will tell you this. I'm not a fan of the 90s. I lived through the 90s. Once was enough. I don't like the style of the 90s. I don't like the look of the 90s. So a lot of the stuff from that era, it doesn't work for me because I just don't like the aesthetic of it. This film was decently made. Some of the action's pretty cool. And there's a sequence where Tony Todd shoots like through the plane when it's disembarking. That's where he assaults the guy that Dacascos is working for. And they do some really interesting and clever things. So I'm not going to say it's not visually interesting, but a lot of it I thought was just kind of bland. And some of the action wasn't shot very well. Dacascos is really good at what he does with action, martial arts, and hand-to-hand combat. Some of it was kind of thrown away in how it was shot and how it was cut, unfortunately. But you can still see that he's good at what he does. I'm just always disappointed that filmmakers so often for decades since the 90s have really sometimes gone out of their way to not show you what's going on. That's not really the case here, but it's always a little disappointing to me when I know somebody is good at action and the film doesn't really just let them do that and show it off. So I thought it was pretty mediocre 90s direct-to-video action for me, for my lifestyle. But if you're a fan of the 90s, if you're a child of the 90s, if you're somebody who gets excited about the idea of a 90s action film, this may be exactly what you're looking for. Good transfer, very sharp, might be a little lacking in contrast, gradation, subtlety, if that means anything to you, but it looked good. It looked good on the big screen. It's just one of those where sometimes something from the past will get a new transfer and you'll look at it and you'll be like, man, this doesn't look old. This looks like it was shot yesterday. This doesn't quite look like that, but it looks good for what it is. Bonus features. These are cool. The two interviews. You get an interview with Mark Dacascos that's 32 minutes. It looks like it was done through Zoom, so the quality isn't that great, but he seems like a super nice, super engaging guy who has great things to say about the production, great things to say about the director and his co-stars. He's the kind of guy you just kind of want to hang out with. You want to hire this guy. And he's talking about how he never stops working. He never stops trying to learn new things and try to be better at what he does. And he talks about his martial arts history and his background. Very engaging interview that made up for some of how much I didn't think the movie was that great. And then you have a Tony Todd interview that's 13 minutes. It looks like he's hanging out on his couch or somewhere. He's shooting it with his phone, kind of looking up at him. Not the best angle on it, but very interesting. Like he talks about his acting and his acting methods and his work methods and philosophy and various films that he's worked on. Part of it is about his recollection of making this film, but a lot of it is just about his philosophy on life and stuff. Totally cool, totally laid back. Exactly what you imagine Tony Todd to be. Very intelligent, nice guy. Then we have trailers for Double Dragon, Angel Town, Boogie Boy, and Instinct to Kill. Now let me show you the box, because the Rewind collection does always a nice job with these. So the slipcover looks a little bit like, is that in focus? Is that out of focus? If I put it right in front of my face, is it in focus? Wow. Well, if it's out of focus, we're doing that to protect the innocent. It looks like the old Media Home Entertainment cases way back when. Slip off the slipcase, and we got same thing underneath that. Cracker open, and the disc looks like it is, wow, that really does look out of focus. Is that in focus? How about that? There you go. Sorry about that, folks. It looks like an old Warner Home Video. No, it looks like an old videotape face label. You crack it open, and we have, this is unusual. Usually they'll do a reversible cover with different artwork or the original artwork. Here we have, yeah, I guess that's how we do it now. It's a cool little wraparound inside there. And then inside, we also have a mini poster that is a mini poster of that Media Home Entertainment looking cover. So pardon any of the focus issues. I don't know what's going on with my camera today. So available now on Blu-ray from the MVD Rewind collection is 1996's Sabotage. Some people say Sabotage. I say Sabotage.